So this is the new Deep Rock Galactic Deep Rock Galactic update,
Easy for him to say.
and yes, this is the contents of it. Miner's Manual, creature pages. Okay, so one of the main things they added to the new update is the bestiary, which is part of the Miner's Manual. You go click on Escape, you can either press A or you can click on Miner's Manual. And then what you do is you click on Bestiary. And here you got these glyphs. So you can scroll through these fast by pressing W or your forward key and your backward key. And then you can also see how many you've killed by looking at this number right here. So that's how many you've killed since the update, since you first logged in after the update. So not all time, of course. You can press right click to go back to the main overview, by the way. Here they got the attack, the defense, and the speed. And they have the lore of them right here. And then they got the attacks that they have. They got like they got like where it stays, like so ground would be on the ground, flying would be it'd be flying. And it shows you the family. It shows you the armor here and the weak points. They don't always have all the attacks here because it should be a special attack, the guard that they have, but they aren't. So it also shows you resistances right here. So you got fire, cold, explosive, and stun. So it's got fire and cold and ice resistance. All right, that's interesting. I never knew that. And then you also so right here, explosive resistance. You got the attacks. And then you also got the Ebonites in here, the armor, rock skin, so etc. Then they also have these combat tips, which show you combat tips. So you got also really interesting lore for these two. Like you got the Brood Nexus, which is the Brood Nexus is one of the great mysteries of Hoxie's. Well, we know for a fact that glyphids hatch from eggs. These malodorous organic protuberances nonetheless expel freshly birthed and ravenous glyphid swarmers. It's theorized that the Brood Nexus is a completely separate genus, somehow able to replicate the DNA of other species and use their designs for its own projection. Either way, if you meet one, take it out with extreme prejudice. So you got the weak points down here, etc., etc. Then you can also turn around the models by holding left click, but you can't go all the way down and you can't go all the way up. They snap you at a certain point, and you can turn as far as your mouse allows you on either side of the screen. So yeah, they also include they also include variants of things, like they got the Frost Bomber for the Goo Bomber, and like I said, the Ebonites. And then they also include non-harmful things like the Nadesite Cave Cruiser, and then they got they also got like things like the BTC, the Honeycomb, and then if you're wondering what the Cave Leech looks like, you can't go all the way up, you can't go down, or you can't go below it, and you can't go above it. Interestingly enough. So you get all this good lore. Apparently the maggot is actually a bunch of creatures working together to reach the sunlight, which is interesting. But yeah. Then you also got other families. They don't really tell you what other is. So yeah, interesting. It's a cool little addition. It tells me things that I didn't know before, well, I did know that. I did theorize that ice things were resistant to fire. That was something that I was pretty sure of, because freezing things is hard, and ice is harder in ice biomes. But yeah, this is very interesting, a very cool thing. There we go. That's it. An obvious part of the Miner's Manual we planned from the very beginning is a full library of every creature in the game. And now it's there, chock full of information, tips, and even a bit of lore for those into that kind of thing. Every creature entry starts off locked and will be revealed as you encounter them in the flesh, as opposed to in the shirts.
Can't wear shirts.
3 new secondary objectives. We've added 3 new secondary objectives to mission objectives to spice things up a bit. Gunk seeds. Shoot the hating slime sacks to release precious gunk seeds within. They look like testicles. So these are the gunk seeds. Right here. This one's hanging. You can see it looks like a testicle. You shoot it, the thing comes out. It's kind of gross.
Come here.
You shoot it, and then a big round ball comes out, and it's a hanging. Alright, that's one way you can put it. It's not as gross as what I was thinking. So yeah, that's what the gunk seeds are. Another thing I want to mention is these gunk seeds actually have these rag doll things. Like, they're like punching bags. Like, bam, 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 bam. Then you can press E to actually slap them, which is really weird, but whatever. Look at my screen. The thing.
It's a testicle. It's a moving testicle.
Yeah, and it's poking me with its spikes.
Testicles have spikes?
I think it's just having a seizure.
Yeah, it's just happy to see you?
No, I think it's just having a seizure. It's a lot different.
Come here.
The Evo nuts. Destroy the tough outer shell and harvest the nuts inside. Alright.
A previous crew lost their mini-mules, their drop pod, and their lives in this cave. Find and repair the lost mules, get the drop pod operational, and return to base. Expect heavy infestation, and try not to mess it up like your former colleagues.
Alright, so before the mission control server interrupted me, this is what an Evo nut is. It's, this thing right here, you mark it and it'll say Evo nut. You pickaxe it, it turns into this. You gotta pickaxe it in order to get the thing.
I need the mule right here.
Pickaxe it again, it does that. You pickaxe it again, then you can press E. And you pick it up like that. You can pickaxe it for more to destroy it so it gets out of your way if you want. But yeah, then bam, now you have an Evo nut.
Cool.
You've got, I guess, mule had gotten nut, isn't it?
Be gone.
So power attack will actually
Donkey,
like
come here.
break it in one hit. So that's interesting. Why does everything sound like it relates to testicles? Fester fleas. Pest control. Take out these small annoying bugs before they start multiplying. Let's hope for you that doesn't have that doesn't relate to testicles. Finally, we have the fester fleas secondary. So you gotta shoot these freaking fester fleas. Yeah. Don't shoot the eggs, they pop out swarmers. Because we have to exterminate fester fleas, that's how it works. You have to kill them. It's a secondary. Go, killed one. Yeah, so that's the fester fleas. They fly around and you have to shoot them. If you shoot them in their little nut sacks, they're blue nut sacks. It does more damage. He's right in front of you. Or behind you. Can you mark them? Yeah, you can mark them. Wow, so cool. Cool. That's the other secondary objective. You can get up to these fester fleas, and if you, well, they fly away. But if you get up to these fester fleas and you power attack them, bam, they die.
Now finish the job.
So that's really useful. I don't know. New enemy, Korlok Tyrant weed. The Tyrant weed is a brand new encounter for you to encounter. Yeah, no shit, Sherlock. Plug your headset in. Korlok Tyrant Weed. The Tyrant Weed is a brand new encounter for you to encounter in the caves. Take out the central heart growth before it manages to seed the surrounding caves with so many shooting sproutlings that it overwhelms you. When you have destroyed it, remember to deposit the Tyrant Shards, which will reward you with a nice credit and XP bonus at the mission complete screen. As they add more of these bosses, or these like the Brood Nexus and the Nasodite Breeder and like this type of boss, they need to make sure that they reduce the spawn rate. You know, at a certain point, you don't want to be encountering freaking Nasodite Breeder, 10 Brood Nexuses, 2 Oppressors, 2 Dreadnoughts, and like a Corlock Tyrant Weed every game or something like that, you know? You don't want to be encountering that kind of shit. So, like, I suggest next boss kind of lower the spawn rates a little bit for each of the bosses before it. How to beat the Corlock Tyrant. Disclaimer, some of this is theoretical thinking and not officially tested. So, the Korlok Tyrant Weed. How do you beat it? Well, here I will discuss some strategies with you. Let's go. Basically, I'm going to want to start this off by showing you the wiki page. So, species Korlok biome all, category boss, space health 3000. This is the main part. Resistances. Electricity 50%, explosive 30%, weaknesses melee 20%. It's got no immunities, it's got no weak points, and it's got unbreakable armor when it's closed. It's immune to heat and it's immune to cold, which means temperature shock tactics do not work against this thing. That sucks. Even throwing freeze or heat grenades won't work against this thing. Now, the sprouts. Weak point headaches 2. Resistances, electricity, explosives. It's got less resistance. It's got the same resistance as the core, but it's got less resistance than the core. And it can actually take burning damage. Alright, so it burns and it freezes. Freezes faster than it actually burns, which is interesting. I'm not sure if that's something that's constant. But basically we see head, melee 100%. So this boss is really, and it's interesting, it's actually, the thing is actually weak against fire and frost, the sprouts. It's almost the opposite of the Corlock. The healing pot is like in between in terms of the resistances and weaknesses. So you're going to want to actually probably have, if you have like a driller, probably going to want to assign them to sprout duty. And killing the sprouts mainly, instead of focusing on the tyrant. However, everybody should be focusing on the tyrant, and I think the C4 from the when the tyrant opens, everybody should be focusing on it. That's something that everybody should be doing. So then we got this. We got the hazard level. We got the health scaling. So the thing, this is interesting. I never knew this before. The thing actually scales with player count and hazard level. So you got the hazard level 5, which is 2100, hazard level 4 to count, which is 2100, hazard level 3 is 2700, this is 3000. So it doesn't scale like this, like the sprout. The sprout actually scales more like this, while the sprout scales like this, kind of scales like this. This tyrant scales almost like really horizontal-ish. If you're in a 2-man, going in and suicide bombing with See You in Hell is actually a very viable trick. You can go in if you just want the thing dead. If you just want the thing dead and it's got a little bit less than a third of its HP, and a 2-man here, 2-man here, it's a very viable trick. However, I wouldn't try it if it has anything more than 2100. If it's like the 2700s, I wouldn't try it just because the chance of you dying is too high, and then nobody will be able to get you up because of the sprouts. Because you won't insta wipe the the sprouts. Maybe you are. Yeah, you will insta wipe the sprouts, but the thing is, the sprouts will regrow and reseed, so nobody will be able to get you up, and there's too high of that risk. But if it's got 2100 health, if you're in one of these, 2-man has 4 or 5, or 2-man has 3, It works well. Now, the problem is they've got resistance to electricity. One of the main parts to see you in hell is the fact that it has a lingering electricity field. Well, these things don't experience fear, and they don't experience electricity. However, the driller, since it's melee, it seems like this thing is both focused and not a driller thing. If you've got Berserk, I recommend going in there with Berserk and every time you get it. Now, another thing I want to mention is the weak points on the heads. This is a balancing act between shooting the head of the sprout and not shooting the stem of the sprout. See, because the head takes 2 times the damage, which means it takes 2 times the shots to take the sprout out of commission. But if you shoot the stem, the thing dies entirely, and the Corlock has to reseed it, as opposed to here, where it just recrolls on itself. So it's a balancing act. If you want, you're gonna want to shoot the stems of sprouts that are inside like your position. But if it's not inside your position, it's by the weed, and that you might as well just focus on shooting the head. The healing pod, these guys are really dangerous. You're gonna want to focus on taking these guys out. An interesting thing about them, they don't heal if they're frozen. So if you got freeze grenades and there are like a bunch of healing pods in one area, bam, you can just temporarily take them out of commission. Not only that, but they take extra damage when they're frozen, just like anything else. So temperature shock on these healing pods and these sprouts is an effective tactic. The only problem is the radius of the incendiary grenade isn't amazing. So I've got the stats for the reason I'm talking about See You in Hell is I've got the stats for the guy in here. Come on. Here we go. Type damage 666. Pure, I don't know what that means. Oh my god, what the frick was that? Alright, the full damage radius is 4 meters, so about, in the fight where I had it, that's about enough to take out like four sprouts. Damage radius is 4.5. Okay, stagger, 33% chance to stagger. Okay, cool. So now we're gonna review what I did and what I failed against the Korlok Tyrant weed. So I think it's this one. Alright, this is a test. It's a test to see my microphone. I'm gonna get off the proc here. Yeah. Now open, please. Here we go. Okay. So here we're strategizing. See, in this mission, we had the chance to take it out from a distance. The problem is when you take it out from a distance, you miss a lot with your guns when the Korlok weed opens. And also the Korlok weed doesn't actually open. Well, it doesn't open a lot. It doesn't open as much because you're tap firing. The thing opens when when every Korlok sprout and every healing pod dies. Dying includes the head is just cut off. So it's going to take longer for the thing to open, and you can also bait the thing. You can just take out all the heads except for one, and that keeps it from healing itself, and you can put the boss on pause, which is something we should have done instead of what we actually did. As you can see here, the thing comes after me. I made a fatal mistake around here. Me or new, we got too close to the thing, and the thing started attacking us. Once you started it, there's no stopping it. It will keep attacking you until the end of time, or the end of the mission. You can see we're going around here. But we were discussing what to do around here. There's a swarm. But then we decide eventually that this ridge is a good idea. What you're going to want to do when you fight the Korlok Tyrant weed is you're going to want to go on a ridge. You're going to want to have lots of ammo, and you're going to want your machine to be on peak performance. See, another problem here, and why we probably failed, is I kept having FPS drops. Where my FPS would go to like 1 for like 5 seconds. When you fight these guys, you're going to want to make sure your machine is on peak performance. If you've gotten performance issues previously in the same game, or a couple of games earlier, go into your machine. If you've got something like Norton, they have machine cleanups. You can do a machine cleanup that really speeds up your machine. your FPS drops, you're gonna want to have ammo, a bunch of ammo, 2 supply drops worth of ammo at least in your main in all your guns. See here we were down to like 2 and we only had 1 drop. That was a mistake fighting the thing. We should have searched out the other cave, gotten more nitro, came back to this, and then fought the thing. Then we would have had more drops. And it would have just been a better time. See here, I only had like half the ammo at GK2, which is the main damage dealer, since my Uzis have the cryo in the lens. See now the thing opens, and instead of shooting it regularly, I do that, which is a large mistake. Another problem with using freeze grenades in the glacial strata is because you get cold a lot, and so if you throw a freeze grenade and you throw up, bam, you're frozen, your teammate's frozen, you're screwed. You can see I took a lot of damage from that. Here we go, I'm shooting around. I'm jumping around, I'm using good movement, I haven't taken a lot of damage, but then a swarm comes. And at this point, we fight through the swarm. And then, we keep fighting, blah, 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 blah. But we go back to fighting the Tyrant Weed. Instead of grabbing more nitro, instead of grabbing more ammo, we go back to fighting the Weed. Another thing real quick, the Korlok Tyrant Weed health is split into 3 parts. You can also tell if it's healing by this symbol right here. But, once one of these health bars is depleted, the healing pods cannot heal back one of these parts. So if it's down 2/3, the healing pods can only heal up to 2/3. If it's down to less than 1/3, it can only heal up to 1/3. So that's an interesting thing to know. I didn't know that, and so I learned that from the wiki. One of those healing, you're gonna want to discuss with your teammate what healing pods are if they don't know anything about the Corlock. You're gonna discuss what the sprouts are, where to shoot them, what the Korlok Tyrant Weed looks like when it's open. And you're going to want to discuss how prioritizing the Korlok Tyrant Weed when it's open is the first thing you should go for, prioritizing the Korlok healing pods, and then prioritizing the sprouts. Now, I could use one of my freeze grenades, but I didn't have any. This is a part where temperature shock would have been useful, because as you can see, there's a bunch of them clustered up right there. Fire grenade, and the freeze grenade, and the freeze grenade, and temperature shock and such that. Korlok Tyrant Weed doesn't take any form of damage when it's inside the shell. Doesn't matter. But see here, we take it down really freaking low. That was good moves, but then it all starts going downhill somewhere in here. Mainly because I think the swarm comes and we don't bother taking out that healing pod. We didn't really know that you should be going to the healing pods a lot. So that basically sucked. But I'm trying to find the see, there's an FPS drop right there. There you go. The thing's about to throw a bunch of shoots right near our position. But I'm trying to find the part where we kill. There we go. It should be right here. So here, this sprout was too close. So I shot for its head. Right. I was in a bad position. I prioritizing the healing pod because it was already a max health. But instead of shooting at its stem and ignoring its head because the stem takes up its head as well, I shot at the head and then shot at the stem, which is a bunch of wasted ammo. It's like, huh? So anyways, this is how you beat the Korlok Weed. You find a good position, a ridge where you can shoot down on it and back up anytime you need to. You make sure your PC is good performance-wise, and you make sure you have 2 supply drops at least worth of ammo. If you do not have enough ammo in your main damage dealers, you will not be able to beat this thing. Do not try temperature shock against the Tyrant Weed. You can do it against the sprouts, but it isn't extremely effective theoretically because of how spread out they are. If the thing is, if you're in a 2-man has 5, 2-man has 4, you can theoretically suicide bomb the Korlok Weed if it has its health and you're at low health. And if you've got Berserk, you're going to want to go in there with your power attack and power attack the crap out of it, and power attack the crap out of the sprouts because they have 100% weakness to melee damage. Anyways, that's about it, guys. Beating the Korlok Tyrant lead. It's very simple. It's dedication. Gotta have prepare. You gotta prepare, and you gotta prioritize the Korlok Tyrant lead when it's open and the healing pods. Shoot the stems of the Korlok weeds if they're too close to your position. And good luck. So, biome updates. Radioactive exclusion zone, dense biozone, fungus bogs have all gotten a bunch of new shapes added to them. Huge mushrooms, coral-like growths, and more. Go explore to discover it all. New beer, Smart Stout. A new beer is ready for you to unlock in the Abyss Bar once you reach player rank 23. Habanero pepper. Blind heritage knowledge.
What are you getting, a new one?
Yeah, Smart Stout. Even though I thought I already had it, but okay.
That's nice. Whoa, I know everything about everything. Ask me something. Wait. Oh,
Imagine. Hey! Why don't we put guns on Molly?
I needed that. The beer is working. Listen, I know how to precisely make it drop like land at our exact precision every time I make a for. This is gonna make our life so much easier. No! I lost it.
Cheers, Mike! I see everything so clear. The meaning of a dwarf's life is to... Wait. Let's just get some more brew.
Oddly specific. Drink it and you will be struck by momentarily flashes of deep insight. Space Rig updates. The Space Rig continues to be fleshed out with more detail. It's dirtier and messier than ever. The wardrobes in particular have gotten a graphic overhaul that should hopefully make them stand out a bit more. Community request. Added a refrigerator to the Abyss Bar. It doesn't display fan art yet, but we're looking into options. Misk, improve the materials of the brood nexus. Yeah, that looks different. I don't like it, honestly. I like just the full red. You know, I don't like this game to be realistic. I want it to be like, weird, wacky planet with weird plant things that behave weird. You know? Because that's what the lore is. Like, if you read the magma core, most of our scientists quit once they discovered the magma core or the ice cave or something like that, So it should be weird. Terrain scanner tablet now has its own material with correct mission lighting in third person. Armor thumbnail icons in the wardrobe are now displayed with their default paint job and not the equipped. Oh, okay. Cool. Armors are now previewed with their default paint jobs in the shop. Overall need update, not very large, but I understand what they had to do for the mission or new secondary missions. Anyways,
Another day.
yeah, have a nice day, guys. Please like and subscribe. Goodbye.